Good morning, everyone. Happy, believe it's Monday, but happy day, whatever today is, wherever you are tuning in from, or if you're watching later, welcome in. Today, I have a very special presentation for you today called the 3 and 30. This is one of the most passionate objects I have had, or passionate objects is the wrong word, but passionate methods I've had, and I can't wait to share this with you. So let me get all situated in this process. Throughout my presentation, if you guys have any questions, please make sure to let me know in the comments or send me an email at nico@getboundlessmedia.com if I do not see it here. So let us get right into it because we have a very fun presentation ahead. Let's go slideshare, play from start. Boom. Actually, let's do this so I can make sure that I'm seeing you guys and whatnot. Let's just make sure that's bigger. And there we go. We'll just rock it out from here because I actually don't like the presentation mode. So how do you create 30 pieces of content in 3 hours? This is the crowning achievement that I have done with Boundless Media. And that's really why I wanted to start the company. Was I knew that there was an easier way to get through the process of marketing. And that's what we're at today. So why does this matter? So I create about 276 pieces of content, images, videos, and text pieces every single month. And I know that sounds crazy, but I spend less time doing that now than I've ever done it before. Why? Well, that's why you're watching this 3 and 30 webinar. So who's this webinar for? Solopreneurs, people with established online businesses who feel like they plateaued, people who just want to get better at marketing, those just starting off and don't know exactly what to do, and people just looking to dominate their industry or marketplace. That's who this is perfect for. At the end of this webinar, I'm going to give you the complete blueprint on how I create 30 pieces of content with the whole, what questions to ask, processes, and every single thing. So stay tuned towards the end because it's coming. Trust me, it's going to be great. You do not want to miss this. Rules for today's webinar is pretty simple. There's no overnight success, and you have to have a product business idea or something that you want to get to. You might not have that product business right now, but you have the idea and you have a passion. Now, without a passion, you will be like this. You will burn out because this is not like I mentioned before in the earlier rules, this is not an overnight success process. This is something that accumulates with everything that you will do. So this is a real problem in the content creation and marketing world. What you're taught is that if you put good content on social media, you will succeed. And you know as well as I do, that's not necessarily always the case. But what you're learning in 30 and 3 is how to create, how do you generate consistent traffic, leads, and sales from social media? How do you make your marketing less manual, mundane, and more systems driven? How do you gain the skills and knowledge and that will follow you from now until you end up business? And then what's a proven, repeatable model to increase both the traffic and revenues from social media to wherever that is for you? So who am I? My name is Nico DeBrain. I'm the author of a book called World Marketers, co-founder of Boundless Media, who's hosting this presentation, and a CMO of a venture company. My passion is very simple. I like helping businesses, specifically small businesses and those just getting started, navigate social media. I've worked in dozens of different industries, and in 2019 alone, I created over 2,000 different pieces of content. But it wasn't always this way. I didn't fall into this method, and the 30 and 3 was not something that was on my mind when I first started. I started off much like many youngings, a young kid with a dream. I wanted to become a doctor, but as you guys can see, this isn't a medical presentation. This is a marketing presentation. So my life took a ton of twists and turns, and I discovered people like Gary Vee that turned me on to marketing. And that's what led me to start my creator journey, my marketing journey back in 2018. So as you can see, this is a screen capture of my very first video, the video that I was committed to posting online. I had never posted a video before, and I was excited. But like many other people, it took me a long time from committing to create content to actually putting that onto the internet because there was a lot of questions I had. But in September of 27th of that same year, I actually posted that with a great community of other creators who actually encouraged me to actually post. With that being said, they gave me a 30-day video challenge, create a piece of content every single day for 30 days. And guys, I'll be honest, I struggled. I spent hours and hours coming up with concepts, editing videos. I wanted to make this the best thing ever. And I couldn't fathom doing it more than 30 days when I started. But I just dived in. So from September 27th to October 27th, I just committed to making pieces of content. I did that after the 27th. I kept doing that. And on March of 2019, I decided, you know what? This is a crazy idea. Why not try and post twice a day? I'm starting to get into the rhythm. So I did. Then it just kept going. So from March to June, I said, you know what? I've got a good system for posting twice a day. Why can't I post 3 times a day? Then I just kept streamrolling. March of this year, I posted 8 times a day. And now July, I started doing 15 times a day. I've somewhat kind of stagnated at the 15 pieces of content a day. But if you're hearing that and thinking, wow, I can't imagine that, it's not hard. And that's why we have this webinar, because it's just a complete system to do. So what happened between 2018 and 2020? It was pretty simple, but I didn't have a team. I didn't have a marketing degree, and I didn't have some magical ability to make me actually this master of creating content. I simply put, there's a machine, and there's this machine called the 3 and 30 machine. Right? So it's built on the foundation, design, and execution. And we're actually going to go through that whole process. But basically, if you have 3 hours, I want to help you convert that into at least, and that's the promise to you, at least 30 pieces of content. So will this work for you? Pretty simple. I've worked with people in real estate, nutrition, B2B sales, marketing, consulting. I've worked with people across the board, and the process works for them. It's a simple method, and really it focuses on the foundation, the design, and execution, which we'll go over today. So instead of waiting you guys, having you guys wait hours and hours and hours to come up with this idea, here it is, foundation. Let's just dive right in. So in foundation, there's really 3 things that make that up. And there's, you can go into the intricacies, but let's focus on the 101s. Let's focus on, at the end of this webinar, actually putting this into practice so that you are creating content. I'm taking away all that fluff and just giving you the meat and potatoes of what's going on, right? So persona, message, strategy. You might want to write that down. If not, I will send you my slides at the end of this, but make sure to have that. So first thing, persona. Persona just means a specific person. What this person might differ from this person. And that's what we want to address. So without even getting into this machine, you have to know who it is that you're marketing to. Is it a male 24 years old to 30 years old in Alabama? Is it a woman in New York City, who loves cats? Whatever that is, you have to have that specific person in mind. And here are simple questions to start helping guide that thought process. What's that age? What's that person's name? Where are they located? What type of education do they have, or are they aspiring to get to? Why they need you? Why do they need you at this very point in time? What frustrations do you solve? And what are their top 3 social media platforms? This one is key. And there's so many mechanisms to do that. But I always recommend go to Google and type in, where do adults 25 and plus hang out online? Find these. Most likely your main combination will be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn for more of the professional world. TikTok maybe skews it a little younger, Medium. There's so many different mechanisms, but there's only about 8 to 10 relevant social media platforms today. You just have to pick 3, and even if you get it wrong, I'll show you exactly how to pivot that. You have to have a specific message to tell your audience. In this world where people see over 4,000 ads every single week, whether on Facebook, Instagram, whatever those places are, they see so many ads. So if you don't have a specific message for that specific person, you are going to fall on deaf ears because there's just so much content out there. So think about your specific message as, why is now the time that they need you? And what's the main benefit that you bring to people? Once you have those key questions answered, put them with that person. Just say, why is right now the important one? What's the main benefit, and who do you serve? That's how simple this mechanism is. And the last, and I would personally say one of the most important, is strategy. Because if you want to go from the Caribbean to Europe to Australia, there's a path that you should follow instead of going directly from the Caribbean to Australia and missing one of your objectives. How do you come up with the strategy? There's so many mechanisms, and I do not have time in this webinar to go through each and every one of those. But really, you boil it down to specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. You might have heard about this concept before. It's called the SMART goals. It's called the SMART goals. So have that for your strategy. What's that specific thing that you want to achieve? Is it more followers? Is it more money? How do you measure it? Is it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly? How do you measure your success? Is it attainable with where you are today? Is it realistic? And is it timely? I know you and I want thousands and thousands of followers by the end of this webinar, but that's probably not going to happen. And we need to make sure that we have the right goals for the right times. Now, without going into too much of it, something like this is a great starting point. I want to gain 1,000 followers on Instagram within a year by actively engaging and crafting content for my audience. So again, it's missing some key objectives. In this, we don't say when we're going to measure it or whatnot, but I need you to realize that that is one of the biggest starting points, is have that thing in mind. With strategy as well, I need you to think about what those 3 platforms are that we measure, that our persona is on, and how does that play into our strategy? Are we going to be posting 3 times a week on Facebook, at once on Instagram? Are we going to repurpose our content? These are the type of questions that you have to think about. And as we go through the rest of this webinar, I know that we're going to answer a lot of those questions, but at the end, we'll leave a little time to really catch up on the questions that I'm probably getting right now, but I just need to get through the majority of this. You have to design your machine. So once you have the person you're talking to, a specific person, a specific message you want to tell them, and then at the end of the day, you have a specific strategy that works for those people, right? You can design your machine. And that's why you guys are here in this webinar, is to help for me to help you design this machine. So the 30 and 3 machine breaks down into 3 parts. You can see this 3 is big to me, but research, film, and edit and share. And you might be looking at this and like, well, okay, film, I don't have a fancy camera. I don't have a software for editing. I don't have this. Guys, don't worry. This is what this webinar is all about. This is for someone who doesn't have any of the fancy stuff. As long as you have a computer, which you probably have, or a phone that you're watching this on, you are going to be fine. So don't look at any of these and get overwhelmed right now. We're going to go into each specific point. Don't worry, I got you. So into the research phase, again, we have our persona. So who is that we're marketing to? We have that in mind. And that's why it's so important in the foundations to establish that. Because like I said, what's different to a African-American male in San Diego is going to be different than a white male in Phoenix, Arizona, under 24 years old. It's going to be different. So in the research phase, think about FAQs that your persona has, stories that you can tell that relates to them. What trends are happening, both macro and micro, in your industry that might be interesting for those people, right? You are the expert at whatever that thing is that you do, whether it's how do I craft a homemade candle and the kit that goes with that, or how do I pick the best IRA for my retirement. Whatever that is, you are the expert in your own world. So what expert insights can you share that you wish you would have known? And a good rule of thumb is, when you first got started in the industry, what are the top 10 things that you wish you knew that would have saved you time? Think about it in that mindset. Tips, tricks, if you use a specific software, if there's a book that you recommend, if there is just some type of resource that you love, share it here. Tips and tricks do really well on social media. And then case studies. Think about a client, a customer, a past employee. Think about those people that you've worked with and you've spent so much time with. Is there a case study that we can build and share as a video testimonials? Think about that and use that as a mechanism to both research and share that content online. So you might be thinking about yourself, Nico, okay, that's fine, but like, where do I go? There's a ton of mechanisms. Again, you can go to Google, but my favorite, and the one that I use 99.9999% of the time, is Quora.com. If you have not heard about this this mechanism, so it's technically a social media platform. If you haven't heard about it, I definitely want you to write that down right now, because Quora.com is going to be your best friend when it comes in for content creation. As you can see in the search bar, I typed in social media, and you can see there's a huge drop down of a ton of different things related to my niche, which is social media marketing. For real estate agents, for accountants, for people just getting started in their college career. Type in the keyword, and there's usually like 5 or 6 keywords in your industry. Type it in there, press enter, and as you can see there's a ton of questions that will come up. If you are like me and you like options, like I said, Quora up here is going to be the one that you use 99.999% of the time. But if that's still not the one that you want to go with, you definitely can use comments. I recommend in YouTube is a great way. So this is what I did actually yesterday. It's how do you create content for Instagram? I went to the very first video that was trending, and I went down into the comments. Now I could have just watched that video, and that might have inspired me to get ideas. But you and I are looking for FAQs. We're looking for questions. We're looking for things that we can answer. Because think about it. If I come to you and say, hey, go make me a video about why you got into real estate, you can probably come up with that idea and concept a lot easier than I said, make me a video. Where are you going to start? You're going to start here with questions. So in here, you're going to see 2 specific questions. With one saying, how to do it myself when I actually started growing my brand, and then someone else saying, what program do you find useful towards creating a brief? Right, these are 2 questions. So maybe I don't like the last one, but the first one said, how do you actually get to know your brand? That's kind of how I interpreted that question. I can then just go in and answer that. No guesswork required, because what stops so many content creators, and you guys have been there, is the fact that you just don't know where to start. Let's take away all those barriers. That's what we're going to do in this webinar. We're going to take away all the barriers and start with actually what matters, which is answering questions. Listen, if we know that our persona loves real estate in San Diego and they're thinking about buying fixer-upper, that's a gold mine of content that we need and we can answer and we can use in our content creation strategy. So biggest one I want you to think about is go to Quora. Use the persona, why you're important, and figure out questions that you can answer based on those. I want you to build an agenda. Just like you did in school, you had a syllabus of this week, we're going to answer this question, and this question, and this question, and then at the very end, we're going to take this final exam. Again, I don't want to give anyone PTSD from college, but in this, we're going to make an agenda that forms 30 questions related to those. And if you think about it, you can just use this slide to find those 30 questions. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there, right? So obviously 6 does not divide into 30, but let's say that you're just going to use 5 because you decide I'm not going to do any case studies. Well, that's pretty simple. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. So that's 6. You're going to pick 6 FAQs, 6 stories, 6, as you can see, like boom, 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 boom. You're going to go 6 and make find questions related to 6 FAQs, 6 stories that you can tell, 6 tips, 6 tricks, 6 expert insights, whatever that is. Build a agenda, and again, it doesn't have to be hard. Go into Quora.com, copy that question directly, and put it in your agenda. You do not have to overthink this, guys. We're trying to get this as simple as possible because I want you to get started today. So you're going to go to Quora, find FAQs related to it. If you're having a hard time finding questions using Quora, then go and look up different keywords related to this. But again, you are the expert and you have an idea, product, or service. So find the questions that can highlight your expertise, that can highlight the service that you provide, that highlight the case studies and the experiences that you have. That's what this content is going to help you do on social media. Next is film. So we got our research and we built our agenda with 30 questions. And I know 30 questions might sound like a lot. I can feel the anxiety coming from people. 30 questions? Why do I need so many? Trust me, trust me, trust me. In the moment, you'd rather have too many than to have too few. So when it comes to the 30 in 3 machine, filming, I know you might be scared of video, and I get it. I was there. It took me those 6 months. Guys, think back to the timeline on the February 27th, 2018. I decided to make my first video. I made it, and it took me until September 27th or whatever, a few days are different, to post. That's a huge gap. Why did it take me so long? Because I didn't have a community. I didn't have the process. I didn't have someone to support me. Guys, that's why I'm here. That's why you have my email, nico@getboundlessmedia.com. I'm going to be dropping that email throughout this whole presentation because I want you to email me so I can help you. I want you to reach out on social media so I can help you, because that's why I'm here. So for filming, and I don't want to lose anyone here, even if you don't use the film, right, you can still do a lot of cool things after. And that's how just trust the machine. Don't be scared of video right now. We'll get over that. We might not even use video, hint, right? So don't be afraid of this. Filming, we're going to use Zoom. Zoom has a 40-minute free time span in there, but you can also use different, a ton of different filming tools, right? You can use what we're using in StreamYard, but use Zoom. It's very simple. We have 40 minutes. It's probably going to be ample in time for you. So just use Zoom. I'll end it there. So next that we've actually, I should probably back up and say why are we using Zoom? So what we're going to do is take that agenda with those 30 questions, and we're going to break them in half. So 15 in section 1 and 15 in section 2. What you're going to do is for 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, depending how long you're going to take, you're going to go through and make a video on Zoom of you just talking, answering those questions. So for instance, if someone asks me, why did you get into social media? I'll give my small presentation on Zoom. And then if the next question is, what are the top 10 tools top tool to use on Instagram? I'll go and answer that. So I'm just using my agenda as a sounding board to answer rapid fire questions for the camera. Again, it will take a quick break, and that's when you can end the Zoom and resume it later. Resume it later. And then you're going to use the second section to actually get the rest of those pieces of content, right? So you're going to just answer 15, 12, 15 questions, depending how long it takes, right? Take a small break and answer the rest of them. So in that 40 minutes, you're probably going to get through 25 questions. You might not get through all 30. And there's a reason I said 30, because you'd rather have too many, because in the moment, you might be answering a question about, what got you, what industry trends are going on. And you get through 30 seconds and you realize, I actually don't like that question. Let me just skip it and move on. That's cool. I've skipped many questions. I've been in the middle of filming with my team, and I just looked at the question and said, yeah, I don't want to answer that one right now. And then we might answer that later, but it's okay because we have an abundance of questions. So with that, we're going to split that into two sections, 15 questions. We're going to go in and answer all of them. And at the very end, the best thing about Zoom is the quality both in sound and sound and video is really good. Otherwise, you can use your phone. You can have both of them up there if you want different angles. That's totally cool. But you're going to do that. And at the end, Zoom's going to download. Make sure you press record, but it's going to give you a downloadable MP4 video. That's awesome. That's what you need. As you can see, this is me after a filming session. This is going to be you after your filming session. You're going to be tired at the end of that 40 minutes, but you're going to feel relieved. You're going to be like, I did it. I just answered, 25, 30 questions, I'm done. Well, not really, because we're still in the middle of this. Remember, we have to do the research, we have to film, and now the thing that gets so many people tired, and guys, when I'm so excited to share this part, you might have just skipped this whole part because you might have all the message and persona and strategy. You might have that done. You might get the questions, but to edit and share them. That is where the majority of people have a hiccup. And this is where I think the majority of this webinar, the value is in the next 30 slides. So like I said, you filmed the video, this is a recording of it, and you're tasked with editing and sharing. So what do you do? So first thing first, depending if you have a Mac or a Windows computer, so Apple or Windows, you have different software to go and edit them. There's a ton of free ones, and built into your system, there is ways to clip those videos. And that's the very first thing that we want to do. We actually want to take all those videos, all those questions that we talked about, and we want to break those up. So back when we first started, remember when we started like 25 minutes ago and you were like, what's this guy going to talk about? What's he going to talk about making 30 pieces of content in 3 hours? Like, this is crazy. Well, think about it. At this point, you've done probably 30 minutes of research on these questions. Then you did 40 minutes of Q&A. Let's just say, actually, let's go completely far. Let's say you did, 40 minutes of research, 40 minutes of Q&A, of filming, right? You're at what? What's that? Hour and 40 minutes, right? So 40, 80 divided by, so you're at an hour and 20 minutes, right? That's done. That's almost half of our time. And you might be thinking, Nico, how are we going to get to 3 hours? Like, you're going to go over with this. Well, guys, don't worry. We have an hour and we have a lot of time left. That's all I'm trying to get at. What we're going to do here is go with that agenda. Remember, you answered those questions. Well, you can now go and take those and clip those videos up. Guys, I know what you're thinking. You're like, I might have stuttered at video 3, or I might have sneezed at video 10. That's okay. Clip them anyway, because in this process, I'll show you why it's so important to clip all these. So you're going to use that software on your computer, whether you have Windows or you have Apple. You're going to go and cut up that content. And if you're thinking, how do I clip videos? Type in, how do you clip videos on Google, or how do you clip videos on or Apple, and then Windows. And the best part is at the very end, and that's the blueprint, the cheat sheet I'm going to give you, gives you all this stuff. So after you've gone and clipped every single one of these, let's say this one video gives us, and I have 8 in there, but let's say that's that 8 means 30, right? You're going to take them, and then you're going to transcribe every single one of those specific videos, right? Even if you don't use the video and you're not going to caption the video. And the reason we do caption is I forgot the latest stat, but north of 50% of people don't actually watch videos, especially on Facebook, without sound. So they actually read the closed captions, and that's where the majority of people consume information. Whether they're in a boring meeting at work and they're watching your video, or they might be listening to a podcast, so they just want to get the highlights of your video. Whatever that is, you need to caption. And today's content, majority of that content needs to be captioned in some form or fashion. There's 2 great products that we have. And again, if you're thinking, I don't want to spend money on this, YouTube can actually do this. And in the blueprint, we'll show you how to use YouTube to get free captioning. But whatever that is, you're going to take those clips and you're going to transcribe every single one of them. Then half your videos are going to be eligible for or half your clips are going to be eligible for videos. You might not have sneezed in 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Maybe it was only 3 and 10 that you sneezed, and you don't want to use those videos. That's fine. I anticipate that out of 30 questions, about 15 of those are going to turn into video clips, which is fantastic. Now, if you're thinking by yourself, Nico, I actually don't want to use video. Like, I'm not comfortable. I don't like my hair that day. Whatever that is, that's okay. Don't delete these. Still get them transcribed, because you never know in the future. You might actually want to use them. You might think, okay, what did I say at one time? Oh, I have my agenda. Oh, it's video 3. Oh, I have it saved. Look, I can go and watch that video. Oh, I really like what I said there. Let's clean this up. Oh, I already have the captions for the transcription of it. Oh, pretty simple. Like, I can now take this and run with it. So at this point, half your videos are going to be eligible and that you like to be shared on social media. That's fantastic, because if you're, hypothetically, your first month, you're not going to get this, but there's a free tool. There's a tool called headliner.app, and we'll share this in the blueprint again. But you can actually use this to put those captions that you already have from one of these services, right, into this. And within a couple seconds, the video will actually have the captioning. You could hypothetically have that and share that right away on social media. So with that, 15 of your videos might be ready to be shared on social media relatively quickly. And the great thing about these versus using something like YouTube is you're going to have a lot less time invested into editing this. HappyScribe and both Temi have a 99.9% accuracy, and they actually enable you to quickly skim the video. And you'll notice that you might have to change a apostrophe here, or fix a spelling on this one, but most of the time they're right. So now within a couple of minutes, you'll have 15 clips ready to share on social media. With that being said, about 1/4 of those, right, the other, so we have 15 that works, about 7 or 8, depending on, if you like the concepts, will be turned into graphics. And with tools like Canva, which is completely free, this PowerPoint was actually made on Canva, can be used as Instagram posts. You can turn them into Facebook, Pinterest. You can turn them into whatever your strategy entails you to do. You can turn these clips and take the main theme on those clips into a post. So for instance, if you, in video 19 talked about the difference between commercial real estate and residential real estate, you might have liked a specific quote. You can pull that and put that into a post on Instagram. Now you don't have to guess what the post is going to look like, because Canva already gives you a ton of templates for free, as well as images that you can go with that. With that being, with that, you take the guesswork. All this webinar is about is reducing the amount of barriers that you have. So you're going to take those main concepts and put them into Canva, and Canva is going to give you a ton of ideas on what graphics to make. Whether that's a basic Instagram post with an image and a quote over it, or something more elaborate, or even an infographic that the platform can help you make, you will have concepts ready to share. And the reason we transcribed them earlier is now you have the corresponding text, the captions that can go with that. So if you're going to post something about residential versus commercial real estate on Instagram, Canva will give you the templates and images to use. And now you have the supporting text that you can really copy and paste, and we'll talk about what to do with that, but use that as the captions. Again, we've eliminated the barrier of, okay, I have an image, but what do I post with it? No more guessing. Your theme, the image, already has a corresponding text with that. And lastly, 1/4, you might have sneezed in video 3 and whatever I said earlier, and you might not know exactly how to turn that into a graphic, but you have them captioned now, and you can turn those ideas into short form text. So my recommendation is take those captions, throw them into something like Grammarly, which is free, and they have a paid version, but the free one is good. And you can actually go through and quickly edit up that piece. So let's say that, in video 20, you talked about why it's so beneficial to exercise during the holiday season. Let's say you're in a fitness space. You can then take that content, the text, the caption, and you can quickly take out all the ums and ahs and filler sentences and whatnot, and you'll distill it down really quickly into a core 180 to 200 characters of meaningful information. You can take that and post that as a tweet on Twitter, or use that as captions for something else. Or on most platforms besides Instagram, you can actually use that as a text-based post. So now with this whole process, it's going to probably take you the rest of the time to actually go through all this stuff. And that's fine, because again, we're still underneath that 3-hour mark. And the more you do this, the better you get. There's a reason I call this the machine, because you've taken all the guesswork out of this process. Next, you have to share this, right? So distributing it is very simple. You take that and you post, your videos, your images, and text everywhere. Here, as you can see, you can now really, if again, this is 4 platforms, but with 3 platforms, let's say it was TikTok, or let's say it's Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, which all happen to be blue in this case, you can just have those posts ready, and you can use a distribution method like a buffer or something like that to actually share those. For Instagram, you might have to put in a little bit more work because you copy the captions over and whatnot. But again, you're ready to share your content right away. So if you were to do this whole process with understanding your foundation, right? Let's perceive that you've already done the persona, the message, and the strategy. And you just did that research today to find those 30 questions. You filmed those today, and then you went through, and like I said in the blueprint, we'll show you exactly how to go through and break up that content. You can have 30 pieces by the end of tonight that has your whole month's worth of content ready. And that's only for one platform. Here's the thing. You can take that same video that you had for Instagram and reuse it on Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn potentially. So now you've taken the 30 core pieces of content, right? And you've made it applicable in many places. You can use your videos all across the board. You can use your graphics on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So your 30 pieces of content that you've made really actually means for your 3 platforms 90 pieces of content if you were to share them every single day on the corresponding platforms. So in a sense, I lied to you. This isn't 30 pieces of content in 3 hours because I was just wanting you to get something for one platform. You could, with your strategy, post these all across the board and have 90 pieces of content in 3 hours. But it doesn't stop there. No. I couldn't be a marketer in today's world without giving you a bonus. So 1/3 of your content, your videos, your text, your graphics are going to hit the mark. That people are going to love them instantly. And those are the ones you want to save. You want to put those in a Google Drive and save those and cherish those for those days and those months and those years where potentially you don't want to make content. 1/3 of your content is going to be okay. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to have questions. Maybe you notice that, oh, okay, I didn't really make that video so concise. That's okay. And 1/3 of those videos, text, and images are not going to hit the mark. They might get a couple likes. Might get a couple impressions. But at the end of the day, they didn't hit the mark. But this is still better. A 2 out of 3 is still a great job. And what you can do with that is, like I said, on the 1/3 that hits the mark, save those pieces of content for later use. And the other 1/3, now it makes it easier for the following month because if you talked about a specific concept and you know that you have a lot of insight and value to add there, but the video or the graphic or the text didn't reflect that, you can retry it. You can take the feedback, both quantitative and qualitative, from your audience and apply it to that concept. So you can reintroduce that in a new mechanism with feedback from your audience, which means out of those, you're going to get a couple of ones that might go viral. You might get a couple of ones that gets you a new client, but it's in your control. So with this being said, the 30 and 3, 15 video clips, 8 text posts, 7 graphics, and with the potential to reach actually up to 90. So we have the foundations, we have the design, and now it's the execution, which means it's your turn now. It's your turn to put this into work. But I know I'm not going to just leave you guys to go guess what to do. The reality is, I just can't cover everything in today's webinar. I can't show you exactly how to edit those videos. Again, that's going to break that rule. If editing is an hour and a half, and I wanted to keep this under an hour, I can't show you how to do all of those. You might be feeling overwhelmed. You might think, okay, I get the machine, but who am I marketing to? What's that message I want to tell? What platform should I even be on? And should I be on TikTok, right? Should I post Instagram Reels? Should I? Those are the 201s that might be flooding your head and saying, oh, I don't even have a Twitter account. What do I do? Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I'm here for you. So would you like to keep this experience going? Would you want to know the exact blueprint? So I covered the high level, but would you want the step by step on how to achieve this? Again, remember back to the very first point I made on the very, one of the first slides. I said, I'm going to give you this checklist. So here's what you need to do next, because this is all great. You might be thinking, I taken notes. I know I can use Quora to do my research. I know I have to go through and make those videos, even if I'm never going to use them, because I might use them later. I might repurpose them, or I might use them for graphics. I might now know how to use Canva. And you might be thinking to yourself, Nico, thank you so much for this webinar. I'm going to stay tuned to your content, but I got what I need. Option 2, if you were like me, in the very beginning, I wish I had this, and it's cool that you gave me all this, but I still haven't posted my first piece of content. I don't really know how to cut up my pieces of content, and Google's not really making it easy. I don't know how to build a strategy that enables me to generate leads after leads after leads and customers after customers after customers. I'm going to get my own 30 and 3 machine. Where can I go? Well, we put together a very basic blueprint and program to help you go through and document every single piece of this, all the mundane stuff that someone who might in option one have the high level approach and they'll figure it out. So you might be like me in the beginning, you just need the actionable step right now. So we put together a process that helps you reboot your mental capacity, not mental capacity, that's the wrong word, friend, your mental mindset, to remove more of those barriers that you might be having. Put in an actionable plan to actually get you more leads and customers and subscribers. And this is a complete blueprint so that you spend actually less than 3 hours making content that might last for 2 months. That's where I want to get you guys to. Hopefully, through this process, you get so much content that you only have to do this maybe a couple times a year, like 4 times a year. That's what? That's 12 hours a year for content every single day across your 3 platforms. Like that's where I want to get you guys to. And like I said, I make 297, whatever that number was, a month, and that's a lot, but that's really close to 365, right? That's where I want to get you guys at. So in this program, I'm going to help you craft a winning persona, get a message that converts, build a social strategy, figure out and give you a very actionable agenda so you can find those questions and know exactly what to plug in where and exactly where you can do this repeatedly. How to film, right? Maybe you're familiar with Zoom, but you don't exactly know how to use it for recording and the transcriptions. That's what I'm here for. How to edit those videos, how to take them and turn them into graphics and text posts as well. The following this FDE, Foundation Design and Execution model. And in the execution, I'll show you exactly how we've done it for my content. This product will give you a portal that has all the lessons. And I know you might be thinking, Nico, I have courses. I never finish them. I don't like courses. This is not a course because you're going to watch these videos, right? You're going to watch how to craft a message and answer specific questions that we will give you at the very end. So instead of taking notes down on your journal and forgetting them, we're going to give you blueprints, papers that you can print today so that you can start implementing them. So that every single time you want to activate your machine, you have the exact piece of paper, you have the PDFs so that you can repeat the process over and over and over again. So this is not a course. Courses don't work. This is a workbook. I'm actually going to get you results. By the end of this, I promise you will have at least 30 pieces of content. Even if you never implement my machine ever again, you will have at least 30 pieces of content. And what I really want for you is a machine to do it over and over and over and over again. So what you're going to get your content machine. You're going to get the exact blueprint, how to do it again, again, and again. This is not for you if you want to get rich quickly, right? And you can't expect to just post on social media and get virality and take your business from 1 million to 5 million. There has to be work. It has to be continuous tweaking to your strategy and your persona and your content to make this happen. It does take work. But this program is perfect for you if you own a business, if you want to do more marketing for your business, if you want to actually start that business, if you are a freelancer looking for more clients or business, or you just want to learn how to market better in 2020 and 2021 and 2022 and the rest of time. Will this work for you guys? I've seen it work in real estate. I've seen it work in nutrition. Those are polar opposites. I've seen how this can be implemented and been implemented in nonprofits. I've seen this work for so many people, and I'm guaranteeing that it can work for you. Now, this is a really good deal. $300 today. It could be yours. But because you're special and because you paid attention to me throughout this webinar and the last 43 minutes you've been taking notes and being so diligent, I'm going to give it to you for $147 because it was my birthday the other week. You guys are very special, and I wanted to actually give you guys something for paying attention. Friendly warning, next 3 days, right, over the next couple of days, I'm never going to have that price of $147 for this process, for this blueprint, for all those mechanisms ever again. So what do you have to do? In the chats all across the board, I'm going to drop a URL. I want you to go there. I really want you to go and comment all across the board. I want you to type in webinar. That's going to give you half off on this machine. And I want you to start putting this into practice today. So this has been fantastic, and I'm glad I got to share my knowledge because I love you guys. Hopefully you gained a lot from this presentation. But at the end of the day, this doesn't matter at all. Like these theories and these concepts that most marketers give you, that's great. And they're important for the 201s, but you and I are building our businesses. We're wanting to get more leads, clients, and move our initiatives forward. And the best way to do that is through content on social media. And through these mechanisms, that's what I want to give you. If you're not sold yet, and I get it, I'm a skeptical guy. If you don't know me, my name's Nico. Hopefully you kind of know this throughout this presentation. I want you to email me at nico@getboundlessmedia.com. I want to answer those questions. We offer 100% email support throughout this whole process. So you're going to give me $147 today, and we're going to help you throughout this whole process. You have a question, you have a concern, we stand behind our products too. So if you're not happy after 30 days, if you don't have that content made, if you aren't fulfilled and you feel like you've learned something great, we're going to give you your money back, no questions asked. And like I said, any more questions, please give them to me at nico@getboundlessmedia.com because I want to answer them. Like I'm not the CEO and marketer that's just going to let you go through this process alone. Like that's not the type of person I am, because that's what people told me and showed me what to do. And at the end of the day, it still took me 8 months to finish this whole process. Like that's not fair. That's really like not fair if you have the drive and passion and you just need the help to get that and implement that today. And lastly, but not leastly, thank you. Thank you for watching and taking the notes and asking the questions. I'm looking all across the board, and you guys are awesome when being very intuitive with your questions. And like I said, anyone who signed up for this and gave me your email, I will send you these slides. You will have access to this webinar. I'm not gonna hoard this webinar. You can access it later. If you want to go back and said you might have been option 1, that's fine. I'm gonna give you that. But with that being said, option 2. If you want to get this for half off today, I'm only having that for the next 72 hours. So make sure that if this is your time, that you or you feel motivated, you feel you can trust me, that you're taking this into actions right now. So I appreciate everyone for being here in this webinar. You guys are awesome. I see a couple of questions that I will take offline and make sure to send those slides on over. But I appreciate everyone for being here, and we're going to wrap it up here. Like I said, if you have any questions, please send me an email at nico@getboundlessmedia.com. But otherwise, we're going to end it here. Thank you guys for paying attention, and hopefully, this shows you exactly how to build your own content creation machine. Thank you guys so much.